Alright, so let me show you how you can get the best items in the first map. Basically, Trosky region gives you one of the best horses, best equipment for it, one of the best weapons, and so much more. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Also, quick announcement, the winners for the last two giveaways have already been drawn, so congrats to both of them. But I'm opening up another one for Kingdom Come 2 or any other game of your choice. As always, you have to be a subscriber of the channel, activate the bell, and leave a like on the video. We're going to have one of these every month for all subscribers. First things first, here's how you can unlock your pre-order bonus as well as the legendary armor set, which you can do via the side quest called the Lion's Crest that you can open up by talking to the scribe right here in Troskovitz. So the first location is going to be a bit up north from the Zhelyov Inn at a place called Cross and Skeleton. Simply go past the bridge and then follow this route up the hill up until you see this skeleton in front of a tree. And you can just go ahead and loot the bag next to it. The next location will be west from here at a place called Crosses in the Rocks, just a bit up north from the Vidlak Pond. From this point on, you just have to follow this path up the hill, circle around all the way until you reach the top of a rock. Do be careful because there's going to be a slight jumping puzzle and a branch you have to follow through, but at the end of it, you're going to follow with this chest that if you open, will give you the next set of items. From here, we can go back to Zhelyov because the next part is going to be at the treasure hunter's camp nearby in the forest. I recommend taking up this secondary road a bit down south because right around this middle section of it, we can just climb into the forest all the way towards the camp. And at the end of it, you can find this pile of rocks that if you loot will also give you the headpiece. Anyway, from this point on, we have only a couple left, and one of them is going to be the chapel in the rocks, which is very much up north from the Trosky castle. And you're also going to need a spade for this one. But make your way over there, and then right as you're close to the location, pay attention to this set of rocks and this small opening you're going to see on the side of one of the cliffs. If you go inside, you're going to notice an altar that you can move away, and then you can use the spade to uncover the treasure inside. Open it up and you're going to get the next set of items. And finally, the last part is going to be at the wolf's hunting spot further west from here. So once you are at the location, it's very easy to find in between the branches of this birch tree right here. There's going to be a bag of goods that you can open up and get the last couple of items. Now, if you don't have access to this armor because you didn't pre-order the game and you also don't want to steal one from the nearby militia barracks, you can actually get one for free by defeating one of the bandits that wears it. And you can find this guy right here with his companion just a bit up north from Troskovitz on your way towards the Takov village. So there's always going to be this ambush in the early game, and what you can do is go ahead and take both of them down. Now this is going to be a very challenging fight because the armor this guy has is very good for where he's at. But if you successfully defeat him, you can go ahead and retrieve his armor. And as you can see, he has most of the items we already got from the militia set in the previous Perfect Start guide. So he also has the chainmail gauntlets, he also has a very good pair of arm guards, plus he has the same version, if not even better, half plate, and the headpieces are even better than the ones you can steal, at least at the current time in the game. Plus it's going to be way cheaper to repair this set than it is to buy it outright from the blacksmith. And right after here or on your way towards that road, you can also get to the target on a tree. This is going to give you a free bow alternative early on if you also don't want to steal it from the cobbler in Troskovitz. So in this case, you can find it right here in this small opening. There's a target practice, but at the side of the tree a bit in the back, you can find a dogwood village bow. Now, it's not going to be as good as the one you can steal back in Troskovitz, but it will do given the fact that it's free. Plus, you can retrieve the arrows both from the bag as well as from the target practice to get started maybe with some hunting or a bit of marksmanship. Now, since we talked about stealth before and because it's so strong, I'm going to show you how to get literally the best sneaking attire in the entire game very early on in the Trosky region. And you're going to do so by following the Wedding Crashers questline, and specifically the one in which you're going to have to help Miller Krazel right here in the Lower Samin region. So this is going to be literally the first mission for him. You're going to want to sneak in and get some documents for him. But if you inquire how you can do that, he's going to tell you about his own attire that he left off right here at the bathhouse in Zhelyov. Once you're here, you're going to have to talk to the bathhouse owner, and you're going to have a few ways to retrieve that outfit, either by buying it from her, by convincing her, or by stealing her key and then opening up the chest at the top floor. But the easiest route is to just use some high charisma gear. We already talked about that both in this video and the previous video. So if you have enough charisma, you can convince her to give those keys for absolutely free. So get those keys, get at the top of the shed right here, and open up the chest very close to the staircase, in which you're going to find all of the items you're going to need, including all of this attire and some extra items, which is going to let you sneak in a lot better because all of this gear is very inconspicuous, has very low noise, and also reduces a lot of your visibility during nighttime since most of it is of a dark color. And later on, if you get a hunting coat and darker pair of pants, you can replace those and really bring all of those stats down even more, to the point that you can literally sit very close to targets and they will almost never see you with high enough thievery. Anyway, now that we got the best sneaking attire, we're gonna go and jump into one of the best money-making methods and also getting one of the best horses in the Trosky region. And this is going to involve, you guessed it, stealing horses, bringing them right here to the nomad camp and selling them to Mikolai, the horse handler, on the black market for a nice profit. But we're gonna keep one of the best horses, which also gets one of the best saddles at this point in the game. So here are a few spots that work really great. This includes the pastures right here south of Trosky, also the stables right here in Semin, and especially so we have a couple of high value horses right here in Zhelyov. But like I said, do not sell the white one, as that is the one that we intend to keep at the end of this. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is go ahead and sleep safe at the nearby inn up until like 4 or so in the morning, as this means most of the NPCs in the area will be asleep, which means nobody will spot us as we go ahead and steal the horse. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and steal the darker one, as I don't intend to keep this one. It's also pretty good value, and again, whatever you do, make sure absolutely nobody spots you while you're doing this. And if you already unlocked that nomad camp before doing this, you can simply fast travel right there while on the stolen horse. Now, the horse handler in this location will start its post at about 8 to 9 in the morning, so if you reach there sooner, what I recommend doing is to use the nearby fast travel point to make the time go faster. The reason we have to do it this way and not by jumping down the horse and waiting the normal way is because that's going to make the horse go back to its original location, and we really don't want to do that, so just do it the way I do it. But once it's at least 9 o'clock, you can go ahead and talk to Mikolai, and you're going to have the black market option from him. Point at which you can either buy or sell this horse. In this case, I'm going to just go ahead and sell it for 355 groschen, which is the maximum this NPC can afford. So just go ahead and accept whatever value it gives you. From this point on, you're going to have to wait for him to reset his stash. So in this case, 1 or 2 in-game days at max is all you need for him to fully replenish his groschen. Point at which you're going to have enough time to go ahead and set yourself up for the next stolen horse. So if you rinse and repeat this, you can do this almost uninterrupted. Go ahead, sleep, do it during the nighttime, retrieve it, bring it back to the camp, and just sell it to Mikolai right here. So between this and some of the other money-making methods I've talked about in previous videos, you should just jump to about 2,000 groschen or so, which is going to be more than enough to go ahead and afford the next horse. But don't worry, we're going to get all of that cost back immediately after. So in this case, going back to Zhelyov, we're going to repeat the exact same process, this time around with the white horse that we intend to keep. Let's do that, go back, and now instead of selling it, we're going to buy it outright. I recommend haggling with him to reduce that cost by like 100 groschen, which is going to be quite helpful in this case. But as you can see, if you've done that, that horse is now yours, including all the equipment it originally had. And the best thing is that this is going to be literally better than anything any NPC in the region can sell you. There's only one other that's better, which is going to be acquired via a side objective in one of the main missions, but that is basically it. This is going to last you all the way until the second Gutenberg region. But once we've done all of that, we can now also retrieve our 2000 or so groschen back from Mykolai. For that, go ahead and pass the time to midnight without entering the camp first. Just do so until everybody goes to sleep. From this point on, you're going to find Mykolai sleeping right here at the entrance in the middle of the area. But his items, including most of his money, will be located inside of this chest in the bigger tent to the right side. However, for that, we're going to need the keys from him, so go ahead and rob him without being spotted by anyone. Get any key that he has and then go inside the tent and retrieve all of the money inside, which is going to bring you all those back, plus any item that he does via the trading shop. And once you've done all of that, just leave the camp again without being spotted by anyone. And if you've done this properly, you should not see any wanted level in the region whatsoever. And congratulations, you just got the best horses, best horse attire, and all your money back with just a few days' work. Anyway, we have a few more items that are very useful to cover before we jump into the next section, and most of them you're going to get from a series of quests right here in Semin. After completing the first story mission for the Semin Lord in the area, you're going to open up a bunch of side quests for ghouls right here to hunt down a bunch of bandit camps and their leaders. And the best part is that you're going to retrieve a bunch of items from these leaders and then ask ghouls to give them back to you if you want to keep them at the end of each quest. So the first one is going to be the Kanker's Mace, which you get from Kanker, one of the band leaders right here on this side of the map. It's a pretty decent mace, a bit better than anything else you get at that point if you want to use this style of weapon. The other one is going to be Handsome Charlie's hat that you get from Handsome Charlie. This has high charisma, so if you don't have another alternative and want to pass skill checks easier, this can be of tremendous help for that. The next one is going to be Johnny the Gob shield, which is one of my favorites in the game. Pretty strong at that stage and it looks very unique. You get this from Johnny the Gob at the old camp location very close to the lakeside. Like in most of the previous quests in the series, you can also do this the easy way or the hard way, the choice is yours. And finally, my favorite is going to be Casper's ring that you get from Casper, another gang leader right here in Apollonia. So this one is actually the best ring for minus to conspicuousness, which is going to be of tremendous help to combine it with your stealth attire. So that's going to reduce that even more, which means you're going to be even less recognizable, and it's one of the best options until later when you get the Chamberlain's ring. Moving on, I'm going to show you how to get two of the best weapons in the first region, one of which I'm going to show you how to keep indefinitely. So you will get one of them by just following the main story, getting to the wedding via the blacksmith route right here in Takov. By helping him out, eventually this is going to open up the Hermit mission, and this is the one during which you can get some very cool looking armor, almost like a Templar of sorts, but you can also get the Ambrose broken sword, which is even better. So we're gonna have to keep this and not give it to the blacksmith at the end of the quest line. However, I recommend following all of the clues and just solving everything as much as you can, get all the items and the information, because on the way you're going to reach to the Hermit spot right here in Apollonia. As for the weapon itself, it's going to be a bit up the hill from there, right here on the side of the map. So once all of this is done and you bring back that broken part to the blacksmith, he's going to give you a new recipe to use it for a Toledo steel version instead. And the cool thing about this is that this is still a one-handed sword, but it's extremely long and has much higher damage even compared to the two-handed knight version we got from the barracks in Trosky. So you can definitely use it with a shield and still deal a ton of damage. It's extremely strong, and from this point on you can keep it indefinitely by not giving it in to the blacksmith, or maybe by finding a way to steal it from him, but I wasn't able to do so. So if you do, let me know down below in the comments. Also make sure that before your final decision, you also go back to Trosky and talk to Gerta again, and if you tell her what actually happened, she's going to give you an alchemy manual to get some extra levels for that. And also, whatever you do, don't accept any money from NPCs, as that's going to give you some nice discounts back in Trosky. Now, if you still want to give it in and enter the wedding the blacksmith route, you can go ahead and do so, because I'm going to show you another alternative to it, which is going to be from this Cuman enemy camp in Apollonia. So one of the main enemies over here will have the Atman's Sabre, which is going to be even higher damage, also one-handed, so you can use it with a shield. But the problem is that it's going to be a bit shorter and has a bit higher stat requirements. So whatever you do, be careful because these humans are very difficult. They have very good gear, and especially if you fight the NPC that has that saber, you're going to get absolutely slashed to bits. So whatever you do, make sure that you have the upper hand in that fight. Maybe even do some assassinations if you can. And once you're done with that, just retrieve it from his body or next to him. And as you can see, it looks really awesome. Comes with some engravings on it. And like I said, it's extremely strong. And in both of the situations, you can go ahead and further make it even more razor sharp at any wheel and have it deal even more slashing damage against targets. Now, if you want to get a slightly better version than this, you can aim for the Rikonaris Sabre, which you do via the Voivode's Curse. This is one of the last missions. It's actually an extra mission that you get in the Voivode camp. That's at least how it unfolded for me after helping to retrieve a certain person back to the camp. And this is going to have you craft that using the Voivode's blood and a bunch of other items that you can just buy from the blacksmith. So go ahead and craft it, and once you've done so, bring it back to his wife. But what you can do is, once you have done so, you can just pass the time to midnight, go to his tent behind the area he sits all day, and just steal it from him. You can just rob him, and it's going to be right here from this inventory screen. And also get a bunch of other items if you want to. As long as nobody spots you, he's never going to suspect you and never question about it ever again. And now you get this really awesome saber. It looks really awesome. Again, this is going to just be 1 point lower than a razor sharp version of the previous saber. So if I were to also sharpen this one, it would be like 4 points even higher than that. So pretty awesome option nonetheless if you want to go with one hand and one shield. Anyway, there's one more item I recommend getting, which is completely optional and completely missable, and that's the Bravante Saddle. This one adds like 300 to 400 carry capacity to your horse, which is going to be amazing. But it's entirely missable from the back in the saddle, and specifically in the section when you're free to explore the Nabokov fortress. So during this, you're going to talk to this NPC next to the stables, and he's going to provoke you to a race, which I recommend to accept and win, as that's going to be the reward from it. Now, this guy is going to be very fast. That is why I recommend having the head start perk unlocked. This is going to make your horse just go much faster. So you can stop, head start, and basically just rinse and repeat to go much faster than him and win that race. And that pretty much concludes today's video with the best items you can get in the first region. If there's anything I missed, let me know down below in the comments, or if you found anything that I haven't already covered in these videos, also make sure that you leave a comment down below. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, a sub to the channel would be awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next video.